everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor. Today on our Friday review, I want to do a little bit of teaching about Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocols and which one to choose, kind of how to make the right decision for yourself. There's basically three choices. I also want to bring you a great glucose support product. So we spoke about this past Wednesday, how to rebalance your blood sugar to burn more body fat. But in general, this works great for people with type 2 diabetes, for people who are just trying to look to burn more body fat, and those people with a really energy-based dysregulation where they're not able to keep their blood sugar stable enough. So a product that I'm going to mention today, there's a lot of great ones out there. So as always, I'm going to show you the ingredients that you want to look for. And then, of course, you could purchase this product as well. We'll link up to it in the show notes. It's not by us particularly, but Integrative Therapeutics and Pure Encapsulations makes a great one. And then the last one is a specific book. And this book is an old school one. It's at least 50 years old. I love reading the really old natural hygienist, naturopathic books. And this one, let's see, when it was originally written. I'm not actually sure when it was originally written, but I know it was reprinted in 1988, but it's by Dr. Bernard Jensen, and we'll get to that. He was definitely one of my, we'll call virtual mentors, since I've really read all of his books. And if you're a health practitioner, he wrote this book, and I'm trying to think of it right now. And again, my library's quite large inside my office, so I'm staring at my books right now, seeing if I can pick it out. But I believe it's called The Chemistry of Man, and it's a very thick textbook, and it's excellent. It's just really great reading. But the book I'm going to give you today is a very small pocket-sized one, just a couple hundred pages long, but a very small book, easy to get through. So we'll chat about that today. All right, let's get right into it. So again, I like teaching more than anything else. It is, honestly, if I feel like there's one thing I'm meant to do in it, it's to teach. Even beyond, let's say, developing the best nutritional supplements, in my opinion, beyond seeing people in private practice, whether it's through Skype all over the world or in my Boston practice. But I really just believe it's about teaching. It's about education. And I think any one of us can really learn to achieve our goal if we're passionate enough about it, if we get the right education, if someone shows us the right plan. That's really what it was. I mean, there was no reason for it to take years and years and years for myself to get better, except for the fact that it is a journey. Sometimes not all of us are meant to get well right away, and it's because we haven't learned life's lessons enough, meaning I had to learn both the mental and physical ways of getting better. And if I was just doing the physical, it wasn't enough to obviously heal. I needed the mental part as well. But beyond that, I just never learned the proper Candida-based protocols and the proper SIBO or digestive-based protocols either. But the truth is, they weren't around 20 years ago. They just weren't. Not at this level, because nobody was talking biofilms back then. Nobody was talking re-overgrowth. Nobody was talking about not using probiotics. Sure, they were still talking about probiotics way back then 20 years ago, but they certainly weren't talking about not using them in the proper protocols, because probiotics for me was not the right choice, especially starting out. So let's talk about that right now. I have a lot of different protocols for helping people get well with SIBO, IBS, Crohn's, colitis, Candida overgrowth, and any type of bacterial overgrowth. Basically, it's called gut dysbiosis. And it means that there's inflammation in your gut because you have an imbalance between good bacteria. We're not going to get into all of the different hundreds of types of strains, as well as bad bacteria. Those are a little bit easier. Those are the Clostridium difficile, the Candida overgrowth, the E. coli. Now, again, pretty much all of those are meant to be there, but they're meant to be there in minuscule or smaller amounts that don't outweigh the good bacteria. And the good bacteria would be the lactobacilli, the bifidobacterium. Those are the main strains, small intestinal-based strains, lactobacilli, colon-based strains for the most part, bifidobacterium. And again, there are others as well, but those are the main ones. Or the main family, the main genus is what we're really talking about there. So what do we need to really discover? Well, there are two groups of people. One, you're either going to lab test. So you're going to do an organic acids test. That's the main test. That's the urine-based test. Could you do a hydrogen breath test? Yes, we just don't do that anymore because there are a lot of false negatives, meaning that the solution wasn't correct. There's at a much underlying level. It's deeper inside the gut. People don't react as well to a fructose-based solution versus a dextrose-based solution. There's methane-based bacteria. I mean, there's a lot of variables. But with an organic acids test, the nice thing is you're looking for the waste markers of these things if it's seeping out from the intestinal-based wall. So again, there are the people that are going to do the organic acids test, and there are people who are not. And that's okay. Either group is totally fine. Organic acid test will kind of give you that barometer to see really how high your levels are of yeast overgrowth and bacterial overgrowth. And then either way, you'll treat for it in a natural way. And when I say treatment, I say natural treatment. I'm not talking about pharmaceutical based. You could decide to do that. You absolutely could. And if that's your prerogative, I always tell the people that I work with, the people that I care for in my practice, I'll support you in any way that you want. If you want to use nystatin, if you want to use an antibiotic, fine. Just keep in mind that you will relapse. You will, without a doubt, because I see it all the time, if you don't put something in its place. And so at the end of the day, we do this. If you have a little bit of bloating, you have a little bit of digestive-based issues, you don't test high on your organic acids test, you can simply use what we call the Clean Gut Probiotic. And again, I'm going to tell you what it is. You can decide to use any companies that you want. The Clean Gut Probiotic is one of the most unique probiotic formulas in the world. And the reason is very, very simple, is that it contains small intestinal-based strains in a much larger amount. So the nice thing about small intestinal-based strains is that's what we need to put into the gut in order to acidify it in a way that will not allow the overgrowth of Candida or bacteria. That's essentially how the small intestine works. Everyone wants to alkalize the entire world, which is great. I understand that. You're trying to get more oxygen in the body. Totally get it. But the stomach's not supposed to be alkaline. Certainly not to digest proteins and food. The first part of the small intestine, the duodenum, yes, it is partially alkaline. That's because the bile solution's hitting it, which is alkaline, but it doesn't remain that way. As you move down after the first 10 inches or so, it's actually slightly acidic, and it's slightly acidic for good reason, just like I talked about all the time with women and vaginal bacterial-based problems, is that the area is just not acidic enough. That's just the bottom line, is you need acid to kill some of these other types of bacteria that overgrow. And so that's the way it is. And then you move to the larger intestine, then that's going to be a little bit more alkaline, okay? So different compartments of the body have different pHs. So what this product does is it helps to balance that pH, helps to add back in the good strains that will overpower, hopefully, the bad strains of bacteria. Again, I'm just using good and bad in terms of relative terms. And then it also contains Saccharomyces boulardii, the hidden gem when it comes to pushing out pathogenic yeast. So Candida is yeast. It's just there's different types of strains. There's albicans, there's tropicanus. There's a lot of different types. But Saccharomyces boulardii is a non-pathogenic yeast that will actually push out pathogenic yeast, which means bad types of yeast from the gut. So if you don't have a huge bacterial overgrowth-based issue, huge Candida overgrowth issue, then doing 90 days of the Clean Gut Probiotic will help clear that up. And you'll know because it will remove the bloating, it will remove the gas, it will remove any other Candida-based symptoms such as the brain fog, the headaches, maybe there's a little bit of acne, again, digestive-based issues, anything that goes along with high yeast, high Candida, joint pain, it will help with that, without a doubt. Now, a lot of times people, what they do is with the Clean Gut Probiotic, they're also getting the Healthy Gut Support, which, very simply, again, I'm just giving you all the products. You can choose to do what you want. I like to be as unbiased as possible. It's called the Gut Rebuilding Protocol, and all it is it's a beautiful blend of glutamine and zinc. There's a little bit of aloe in there. What this does is it helps reseal up the gut wall. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do. I do this protocol no matter what once a year. That's just the way it is. And the reason is I do it once a year because our bodies are exposed to all sorts of different things that we get into our body that we do not want them to be there, that creates some level of inflammation in the gut, and they also help to or hurt us by opening up that intestinal wall that causes a little bit of leaky gut. So if I know I give my body a little extra glutamine and zinc, and I do that for anywhere from 2 to 3 months once a year, I just help to strengthen the gut wall. And it's literally the most important thing that you could do. Why is it the most important thing you can do? Because 80% of your immune system lies outside of that lamina propria, the gut wall, because your gut is actually supposed to be the outside of your body. I mean, literally, it's like a 28-foot tube that moves through your body. And it's only supposed to let the things that benefit your body in, but it's not supposed to let the yeast, the bacteria, the heavy metals, and undigested proteins through. So that's why I do it. It's just called the Gut Rebuilding Protocol. It's just, I name things pretty much for what they are. It helps rebuild your gut. So it's a really great thing to do. Okay. So that's one option. Now, if you have a much larger Candida-based issue and you have quite a large amount of gas or bloating or indigestion, or you do have skin rashes like psoriasis, eczema, acne, you have any type of ADD, ADHD, mood-based disturbances, thyroid-based issues, autoimmune-based issues, I can't recommend enough the 12-week Candida and bacterial protocol. So not like this changes like your whole routine and world. I like people to know that. nutritional supplements and the protocols that I provide, what they do is they're an adjunct to your life. They're not your life. So you take your supplements in the morning when you wake up and you take them before bed. You pretty much go about your merry way after that. We give you the Candida list of all the foods, so there's no guesswork, and we do a yes list, and it's a one-page cheat sheet. And people ask, well, if the food's not on this list, can I eat it? We say usually no, but there's 3 dozen vegetables, there's 2 dozen fruit. People think they need to cut out all fruit. That's simply not true. That's old research that's just not necessary at all for you to heal your gut. Again, keep in mind, 60% of my practice is all gut-based. We see the worst of the worst, meaning like people come in only able to eat like 6 foods, literally. If not, they throw up, they have diarrhea, whatever it might be. So we see the worst of the worst, and we help get them well. I mean, that's basically the bottom line. So what this does is over the course of 12 weeks, the products switch each month. For 12 weeks is absolutely our most popular protocol. It's used literally, we ship it all over the place, US, Canada, UK, and it just flat out works. And then we reintroduce the foods, people feel much better, and then typically we end with the healthy gut support just to seal up that gut wall. Really simple. So I mean, I've given hour talks just on this one topic. So I could go on, but you honestly should do what you feel is best for you. Some people like to test first. I think that's fantastic. The organic acids test is so much deeper than just testing for gut-based health. It looks at vitamins. It looks at neurotransmitters in terms of waste metabolites. It looks at detoxification. It looks at mitochondrial function. Amazing test. Amazing test. Or you can just jump right into one of those protocols, the gentler one, which is just for lighter cases of the Clean Gut Probiotic, or the Candida and Bacterial Complete Protocol. The reason I mentioned this today on the Friday review is because I get asked it at least once to twice a week through email, at least that. And so hopefully that cleared that up. It's basically 3 options: test first, or jump into the lighter Clean Gut Probiotic, or just the Gut Rebuilding Protocol, which is absolutely what I recommend for every individual, even if you are healthy, just because you want to stay healthy. That's the point. And then if you have quite a larger case, or you just really want to just clean up your gut, that's what the Candida and Bacterial Complete Protocol is all about. We sell that at the absolute lowest price. Like, it's honestly a steal. But as always, you do what you feel works best for you, and we're here to support you however you need that help. Okay. Up next, so a lot of people just, on social wanted to know, well, what's a good blood sugar stabilization product, those types of things. So in our practice, we use a few different products, but let me just tell you honestly what to look for in a blood sugar product that's going to get you the most, we'll call it bang for your buck. And that's the way it is. If you can find, so how I look for nutritional supplements is this. Very rarely are you going to see me do a one-off based product, meaning like a product with just one ingredient. And the reason is this: for around $30 to $40, that's how much most nutritional supplements cost, about like $1 a day or so. That's just what a good functional medicine product costs. If it costs you like 20 cents a day, it's unless it's vitamin D or zinc, it's just a cheap product to make. So what I'm looking for is synergist. I like products that they have multiple ingredients, but they're not just dustings, they're not just tiny amounts, but they're enough that when they all work together, the synergy, meaning like the whole product, is greater than the sum of all of its parts. So that means that sure, chromium works great, and a few other products work great, but when you add them together, then they get amplified. That's the best way to look at it. So one of the products I just want to talk about right now is just called Glucose Support Formula by Pure Encapsulations. Again, I'll link it up in the show notes. Make sure you get a reputable place to purchase it from. Please never purchase your products from Amazon. So many counterfeit products, so many expired products where they just literally scrape off the ink time date, which is so easy to do, and just stamp on their own. That's how people get products cheaper, and then they can resell them at the same price, but again, they're expired. There's so many devious things that take place on Amazon. I just don't recommend getting your supplements there. Buy your books there, buy your shoes there, buy whatever you want there, but don't buy your nutritional supplements. Not a great idea. So this product, why would I recommend it? Well, it has a few products that I need to have in a support glucose product. It has alpha lipoic acid. Okay, keep in mind, alpha lipoic acid, when I had type 2 diabetes, when I was diagnosed with it, meaning like I did a glucose tolerance test, and I failed it, which means that after 3 hours, my glucose levels, my blood sugar levels, didn't come down below 126, or ideally below 95 milligrams per deciliter. So I started using alpha lipoic acid. And the reason it was, even back then, even without the internet, I got to do a lot of research. And the research showed that in Europe, which still today, they're using alpha-lipoic acid, sometimes exclusively for type 2 diabetes. And that's because it works so remarkably well. And you'll want to take 100 milligrams 3 times a day, minimum. That's what I would take. And you're going to see great results. But we don't stop there with this product. You're getting Panax ginseng extract, which is amazing, 100 milligrams. You're getting Eleuthero, which I think is a great product, yes, for blood sugar stabilization, but more for bringing down levels of stress, helping to rebalance. It's an adaptogen. It's an amazing adaptogen. Works really, really well. One of my favorite Ayurvedic products to use for blood sugar is called Gymnema sylvestre. And it's really potent in bringing down higher levels of blood sugar, but also acting as a blood sugar stabilizer. Okay, chromium. Very important to have chromium. Different forms of chromium to get. Polynicotinate is one of the best research forms of chromium. So this product has all of that. It has 200 micrograms of chromium. It has a nicotinic acid in it, which is at a much higher dosage, about 1.5 grams. It's actually 1,400 micrograms, which is about 1.5 grams. And so this overall is a fantastic product. I highly recommend it. It works out really, really well price-wise. Again, what you're going to want to do, though, this is 120 capsules. Well, it's about $2 a day. But the truth is that for each meal, you'll want to take 2 capsules with each meal. Now, I know it says 1 to 2 capsules per day in divided doses. It just depends. Like, if you're healthy and you just want to stabilize blood sugar even more, fine. 1 to 2 capsules a day with your largest meal before your largest meal works great. But if you're someone right now dealing with blood sugar-based issues, I can't give you that recommendation. I'm not working with you as your doctor, but 2 capsules for each whole food meal, highly recommended, or at least with lunch and dinner. So, really great product. Another one that some people like, can't really recommend it because I'm not going to recommend it over the one that I just gave you, is something called Glucofunction, also by Pure Encapsulations. Why wouldn't I recommend this specifically? Because it has zinc in it, and so this is kind of like a one-time-a-day product. Can be great, no doubt about it. It has some vitamin C, which also helps. But the reason I mention this is that it has bitter melon, really great as well. Really nice natural-based product for regulating blood sugar. And it has cinnamon. So 2 other things that you could add to your product that I didn't mention are the bitter melon. There's actually something called banaba leaf, and there's cinnamon. So there's a lot of great products, but what I'm trying to say is, what do you need to have in that product? Like, what's a non-negotiable for me? Chromium, non-negotiable. Alpha-lipoic acid, non-negotiable. And then I also really want that Gymnema sylvestre in there as well. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully it kind of picks out those ones. And of course, if you're just looking for the recommendation that I'm making right now, just the glucose support formula, again, I'll link it up in the show notes. Just go to stephencabral.com/441 for today's show notes. All right, the last but certainly not least, really quick review, because I'm going to keep this under 20 minutes, of a great book called Foods That Heal, a guide to understanding and using the healing power of natural foods. So, if you're someone just interested in how foods affect your body, meaning like from a micronutrient standpoint, like foods have been studied to really help heal the body. So what this book does is it's almost like this little encyclopedia. Really nice to just to have on hand, especially if you're a health practitioner or you're someone who's just really getting into the studying health. Well, this does things like looking at, let's just say, a common ailment such as, well, back in the day, it might be something like scurvy, right? So you say, okay, what's scurvy? What's a great thing to help prevent scurvy? Carrot juice, celeries, lemon juice. Why? Well, the high levels of vitamin C, vitamin A, really nice in there. What about something like bladder-based issues? Celery, pomegranate juice, talks about things like cranberry. What about things to help build back up the blood? Look at all this, all of your dark fruits. We know that dark fruits and vegetables are great blood builders. That includes beets, and you'll see other things in here like this: blackberries, black cherry, parsley, dandelion, tomato juice. Really, really nice. So what else? High blood pressure, carrots, parsley, celery. You've heard me talk about it before, lime juice. Celery is one of the absolute best things to help bring down blood pressure that's just kind of gotten too high, too out of control. The other thing that this book does that I think is really nice is it just goes through each food, like, for example, radishes. And it tells you what are the predominant chemical elements of radishes. Well, potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium. So let's say you're someone who's just saying, you know what, I need to get more magnesium in my diet. Well, this food actually lists all high magnesium foods. And it also lists things like high iodine foods. So you're someone who says, okay, I need to get more iodine because I need to benefit my thyroid? Well, this book takes you through those specific lists. So always happy to promote Dr. Bernard Jensen's work. I've met his daughter several times, who's kind of carrying on his work with iridology. Really, really great woman as well. And so you can just look up Dr. Jensen. You'll find all of her work as well as her father's, Dr. Bernard Jensen. And I read Dr. Jensen's work on enzymes and the digestive system. Amazing work, and truly one of the original naturopaths. Big fan of him. And so again, I'll link that up in the show notes, but really, it's Foods That Heal by Dr. Bernard Jensen. Hopefully those 3 product reviews today helped, and as always, please do feel free to let me know if you have any additional questions. Take care, have an amazing weekend, and be sure to tune in tomorrow and Sunday for our weekend host calls. Thank you for just tuning in to another Cabral Concept. As a valued listener, during the month of April, I'd like to send you one of the exclusive online personal training workout packages I've created for my private clients all around the world. They're literally the same travel and bodyweight workouts I create for celebrities, athletes, and executive CEOs to stay in shape whether at home, in the gym, or on the road. Plus, I also want to ship you the same exact 5-piece resistance band set I send them as well. They're also the same bands I use at my home and when traveling. You cannot buy this online band workout package anywhere else. The home and travel band exercise set with the online workout is only available exclusively through the StephenCabral.com/store and is yours free of charge when you purchase any functional medicine lab test. You can choose from any of our popular food sensitivity tests, organic acid test, hair tissue mineral analysis, adrenal and hormone, thyroid, weight loss testing, vitamin D, inflammation, parasite, genetic testing, the toxicity test, and many more. We mail all labs to you in the US, Canada, and the UK, and each one of these labs can be done right at home with a simple urine, hair, stool, finger poke, or saliva sample. You'll get your results in just a few weeks after mailing in your at-home lab test, and we even provide a complimentary health coaching phone consultation with most lab kit packages. To put functional medicine to work for you and find the underlying root causes keeping you from total body health and wellness, I can't recommend lab testing enough. Plus, as a bonus this month, you'll be getting my resistance band package with the online workout to do right at home, at the gym, or when traveling. Just go to StephenCabral.com/store for details and to get yours today.